If you're not an NFL geek like me, you probably don't know that the roster cut deadline is today at 4 p.m. So what does that mean? Well, basically, every NFL team has to take their 90-man roster and cut it down to 53 players before the deadline to get ready for the regular season. And as an avid Ravens fan, I wanted to give you guys 3 players I think should be on the roster by the deadline. So all 3 of these players are UDFAs or undrafted free agents. And if there's one superpower the Ravens have, it's being able to find hidden gems in the UDFA market. You have Bart Scott, Justin Tucker, Gus Edwards, Patrick Ricard, even their defensive coordinator is a former UDFA linebacker turned second-team All-Pro. They are really good at it. They're kind of like the friend you take thrift shopping, and you walk out with nothing in your hands because everything on the rack was just worn-out junk, and you turn to him, and he found some vintage designer jacket for like $3.99. The Ravens are that friend. They're the one that every year consistently find that vintage designer jacket for an incredible deal. And I think these 3 players have a really strong chance of continuing that legacy. Now, the 3 players I'm talking about are Ruben Lowry, Keon Martin, and Jay Higgins. All of them are rookies. All of them are UDFAs. And I think out of all of them, 2 of them have a really high chance of making the roster, and that is Keon Martin and Ruben Lowry. They both are defensive backs, which is a position the Ravens prioritize, especially since that 2021 season when those 2 position groups just got completely decimated with injuries, to the point where they were having to DoorDash defensive backs every week. And so with that being said, I think those 2 have a very high chance simply for the depth impact that they would have on the Ravens defense. Jay Higgins, on the other hand, in my opinion, should make the roster. He is good enough to make the roster. In my opinion, he's good enough in the next 3 years to become a starter for any organization in the NFL. However, with how deep this Ravens team is, and John Harbaugh coming out saying that Jake Hummel will make the 53-man roster, it does kind of look a little grim for Jay Higgins making the 53-man roster. If the Ravens are smart, they should find a way to do it. My opinion, do a handshake deal with John Jenkins. Jenkins was a defensive tackle they signed earlier this offseason from the Raiders, who's 36 years old. A handshake deal basically would be saying, hey, Jenkins, we're going to cut you now. Let us figure out our roster, find an open spot, and we'll sign you back in a week. That's what the handshake deal is. They did it with Brent Urban multiple times. I think they could do it with Jenkins to be able to keep Jay Higgins on the roster without letting him or risking him getting picked up or claimed by another team. So hopefully by 4 p.m. today, all 3 of those players will be on the roster. But even if they aren't, I'm excited because football's back, and in 2 weeks, we got the regular season starting.